Welcome to Tackling Debt with Emelike Ukpabi. Today's episode is called The Long Game, and that's why getting out of debt, takes patience, strategy, and consistency. But before we dive in, I just want to highlight our $1 billion debt challenge. This initiative, while open to everyone, is focused on supporting the Black community in Canada. Our goal is ambitious yet achievable to reduce the community's total debt by $1 billion. The reality is that debt continues to weigh heavily on our community, but imagine the impact if we could collectively lighten that burden. Freeing more families to save, invest, contribute even more to Canada's growth, right? The number may seem large, but let's break it down. If 100,000 families each reduce their debt by $10,000, we reach our target. And with over 5.4 million members in the Black community across Canada, we might even surpass that. The topics we discuss here are designed to guide, help, empower, educate. This is not professional advice. What we discuss is not rocket science. If you require professional advice, we can always refer you to professionals who can help. In the meantime, we are still developing a community-wide tracker to help monitor our collective progress. In the meantime, you can start by tracking your personal debt, reduction weekly, daily, monthly. Every small step counts. Okay, so let's dive into the long game. It's called the long game because debt freedom is not usually a quick win. It's a process. It takes time. It takes consistency, discipline, and a mindset that focuses on the future instead of immediate gratification. A lot of people want fast results, but the truth is that money freedom is built over time. In this episode, we're going to talk about why the long game matters in debt repayment, how to stay motivated when progress feels slow, and what practical steps can help you keep going, right? So, why the long game matters? That can feel overwhelming when you look at the full amount. Whether it's credit cards, personal loans, student debt, or other obligations, the balance can seem too big to handle. That's why many people quit too early. They make a budget for 1 week, a payment plan for 1 month, and then they get discouraged when results are not dramatic enough. But debt reduction is rarely one big moment. It's about repeated good decisions. The long game means understanding that small payments still matter. Every extra dollar you put forward towards debt reduces interest, lowers stress over time, and brings you closer to freedom. Even when progress feels invisible, it is still progress. So let's talk about the mindset shift. To play the long game, it's got to be here in the mindset shift, right? Instead of asking, how fast can I get this done? Ask, how can I stay consistent long enough to win? That change matters because debt repayment is as much emotional as it is mathematical. If your mindset is focused only on speed, you may become frustrated. But if your mindset is focused on consistency, you keep moving even when the pace feels slow. This is where patience becomes powerful. Patience does not mean doing nothing, it means staying committed while that plan works. So one of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to do everything at once. They want to pay off debt, they want to build savings, they want to invest, they want to support family, upgrade their lifestyle, all at the same time. That can spread your money too thin and leave you stuck. Another mistake is celebrating too early and then going back into debt. It happens all the time. You pay off one balance and then use the freed up cash flow for a new spending instead of redirecting it towards the next goal. A third mistake is comparing your journey to someone else's, journey. Social media can make it look like everyone is winning fast, but most people don't post that full story. The long game is personal. Your pace should match your reality. So what does consistency look like? Consistency is not glamorous, but it is, I tell you, it is effective. It looks like making your minimum payments on time, adding extra money when you can, avoiding new unnecessary debt, reviewing your budget regularly. You gotta do that. Then tracking your progress so you can see what's actually working. You do not need a perfect month to stay on track. You just need enough discipline to keep going after imperfect weeks. That is how momentum is built. Think of debt repayment like pushing a heavy object. At first, it feels hard to move, but once it starts rolling, each small push gets easier. Now, the power of systems. If you want to win the long game, you need systems, not just motivation, right? So motivation changes, systems stay. A system can be an automatic transfer to savings or debt, a payday budget, a weekly money check-in, a calendar reminder to review your bills, a debt snowball or debt avalanche method. Systems remove decision fatigue. Instead of asking every day whether you feel like managing your money, the structure already does part of the work for you. And it matters because debt repayment should not depend on emotion alone. It should be supported by habits. Okay, so let's talk about staying motivated. Staying motivated over the long haul requires visible wins. So don't just look at the full balance. Celebrate those achievements, the milestones, right? The first debt payoff, yeah, celebrate. First month without using a credit card, yeah, feel good moment. First emergency fund milestone, you're aiming towards $1,000 and you get to $1,000, yay, that's calls for celebration. First time you stay under budget for a full month, very difficult, but calls for a celebration. So these wins remind you that the process is working. It may also help connect debt freedom to a bigger vision, right? So maybe you want peace of mind, maybe you want to travel without stress, maybe you want to invest, buy property, or help your family more freely. When the reason is strong enough, the discipline becomes easier to sustain. Now, let's talk a little bit about long-term wealth. The long game is not just about paying off debt, it's about building a healthier financial future. Once debt starts going down, you can begin redirecting money towards savings, investments, long-term goals. Remember, we talked about the power of zero. So when you're paying off debt, you come to zero. That's when you've paid off all your debt. And then that frees up your money-making tool, your income, to be able to save, invest, So that's where real transformation happens. Debt freedom gives you that breathing room. The breathing room gives you options. Options give you power. So when people think the goal is just to become debt-free, I will say the goal is bigger than that. The goal is to become financially flexible, emotionally lighter, and more prepared for the future. If you're in debt right now, I want you to remember this. The long game is still winning. You do not need to do everything today. You need to stay committed enough to keep moving forward. Small steps, repeated consistency can change your financial life. Before we sign off today, I just want to make the usual heartfelt appeal. Are you struggling with overwhelming debt? Are you feeling trapped, scared, or ashamed to talk about it? Maybe it's been too hard to reach out to friends or family because of fear, because of the stigma, or because of how heavy it feels. Please know that you don't have to face this alone. You can reach out to me today. I can connect you with professionals who can help without judgment. You can contact me anytime at my email. It's Emelike Ukpabi1 at gmail.com. Now, if this video inspired you, please share it with someone in our community and comment I am in to join the $1 billion debt challenge, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's turn debt into freedom, one Black Canadian at a time. Cheers. Bye.